Ladies and gentlemen, the Federal Bureau of Investigation offered $1 million to Steele and perhaps others to prove that the Steele dossier was accurate and had evidence that Trump should be investigated. They failed miserably to prove anything within that compilation of nonsense and pure garbage. It was used to investigate Trump. It was completely fabricated. It was the epitome of what Democrats and media pretend to care about, which is accurate information. It was the antithesis of accurate information. We found that out today. John Durham is the lead prosecutor. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. He'll get at least one conviction. Hit subscribe to my super chat. I cannot do this without you, ladies and gentlemen. Your super chat support is greatly, greatly appreciated for these live streams. If you want to talk about the Durham probe, Tulsi Gabbard, God bless Tulsi Gabbard. I love Tulsi Gabbard. I love Donald Trump. I love Tulsi Gabbard. And she is a woman of integrity, a human being of tremendous courage. And there's more than just leaving the Democratic Party. This was in 2016. She showed how courageous she was. And then also flying to a country in turmoil to see if she could find some kind of peaceful solution. This was years back. Of course, Democrats didn't want that. We'll get to that also, and we'll get to the fact that I think that she'll hopefully become a Republican. But hit subscribe to this channel, to my super chat. I can't do this without you. If you want to talk about any discussion regarding the Steele dossier, the Durham probe special counsel, Tulsi Gabbard hopefully becoming a Republican, thankfully leaving the Democratic Party because she is 100% right about what kind of political party it is. The economy, layoffs, the stock market crash that we're seeing that I predicted in 2021, ladies and gentlemen, hit subscribe. My super chat is greatly appreciated. Let's get started. Everybody here. Paul Bartlett, hello. Eric, hello. Matt, hello. DVK, hello. Anita, everyone here, hello. Thank you so very, very much for tuning in. Let's get started. So we can go ahead and let's just read this Wall Street Journal article right here. Trial opens for Igor Danchenko, key source of discredited Steele dossier. Analysts supplied material to document alleged ties to Trump 2016 presidential campaign. So, of course, we'll just read what we can here. Prosecutors revisited the tumultuous 2016 presidential campaign as they opened their case against Igor Danchenko, saying the analyst who had served as a central source for the dossier of opposition research material and then candidate Donald Trump and his alleged ties to you-know-where repeatedly lied to the Federal Bureau of Investigation at a crucial moment in an unprecedented inquiry. This is a false statement case about lies to the Federal Bureau of Investigation, relied on in a historic investigation. Assistant Special Counsel Michael Kitely told jurors on Tuesday, describing how the Federal Bureau of Investigation raced to determine the validity of the dossier's allegations that the Trump campaign was coordinating with another government to influence 2016. They found out that they didn't have even a shred of evidence, but they investigated anyway. It's really unbelievable. It's really unbelievable. Sources in analyst Trump dossier fabricated, prosecutors argue. It was fabricated. Here you have CNN. Federal Bureau of Investigation offered Steele $1 million to prove dossier claims. Senior Federal Bureau of Investigation analyst testifies. So this is a huge revelation when people say, well, nothing's ever going to happen. D'Artagnan Valentino, hello. D'Artagnan Valentino, hello. Thank you so very, very much. To my super chat, thank you so much. St. Cruzan, exactly. To my super chat, thank you. Shortly before the 2016, the Federal Bureau of Investigation offered retired British spy Christopher Steele up to $1 million to prove the allegations in his dossier about Trump, but he was unable to do so. The cash offer was made during an overseas October 2016 meeting between Steele and several. Why would you need to pay someone to prove their allegations? That's absurd. That is absurd. I mean, why would you need to pay somebody who was already paid to fabricate the whole thing? Why would you need to pay somebody? I don't make any. It doesn't make any sense to me. Why would you need to pay to prove that a compilation of nonsense was completely fabricated? So, and that's taxpayer money, by the way. That's taxpayer money. By the way, there was not one U.S. intelligence analysis that said, yeah, Trump was coordinating. There was not one. The DHS and ODNI reports said, oh, yes, it was a concerted effort by another country, but they never stated that Trump. There was no evidence within the United States intelligence community that Trump had anything to do with any alleged hack of the DNC, which is hilarious because guess what? This is the first time I'll say it today, and I've said it every day since 2016. Bernie was cheated. Another reason that Tulsi Gabbard is probably leaving the Democratic Party, they don't know anything. They don't know the first thing about democracy. They don't even have a functioning primary. They anoint candidates they want and then pontificate about democracy. You couldn't find greater hypocrites in your life. But here, supervisory analyst Brian Auten testified that Steele never got the money because he could not prove the allegations. He could not prove the allegations, ladies and gentlemen. He simply could not prove the allegations. Richard, hello. He simply could not prove the allegations. Okay? So, there you have it. Could you imagine, and here's the interesting thing. Could you imagine a dossier against Clinton? Paul Bartlett, my man, thank you. To my viewers in Australia, thank you. Paul Bartlett, thank you so very much. As always. Thank you, Paul. Could you imagine, Paul, everybody here, thank you so much, Paul. As always. Could you imagine if Clinton or Biden had a dossier purchased by Rudy Giuliani? Could you imagine the Washington Post or New York Times response to that, or Media Matters, or anyone? A dossier purchased by Rudy Giuliani that said that Hillary or Joe or Bill, and most likely Bill, that's probably his autobiography, was in a hotel room getting a certain type of shower. Could you imagine? Could you imagine the response? I mean, you couldn't even, they would never allow it. They would never even allow 1 second of what they did to Trump to be done to them. And when you had Chuck Schumer speaking to Maddow, saying, oh yeah, the intelligence community has 6 ways to Sunday to go after you. It's like the intelligence community is paid by our taxes and dollars and the American people. It's not to be used for incoming candidates that the system doesn't like. The nonsense that, well, Republicans, it's actually Republicans don't like Trump either. It's like, well, no. The same people who want endless wars and counterinsurgency conflicts, which is why Tulsi Gabbard left the Democratic Party. Missy, hello. The same people who enjoy failed interventions that ruin the lives of untold countless number of people. These people don't like Trump. That's why you vote Trump. That's why if it's Romney versus Biden, I would laugh. Because I wouldn't even vote. Even though I'm conservative now on a lot of things. More conservative on the Second Amendment and a whole bunch of other things. Because I'm not going to vote for somebody who will get us into never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts. And so when they say, well, Republicans don't like Trump, yeah, he is doing business completely differently from the way Republicans and Democrats usually do business. They side with each other on terrible foreign policy. And there's in terms of foreign policy, which is why Adam Kinzinger and Cheney opposed Trump, because they voted alongside Trump over 90% of the time in Congress. Okay? The difference, however, is that Trump doesn't revere intel agencies. Trump doesn't revere media. Trump doesn't worship sacred cows. He'll tell the alliance, our wonderful alliance in Europe, love trucks, hello. He'll tell our alliance to, pull its own weight. He'll say pay more money. He'll impose tariffs on China. He'll actually build something that Republicans have always wanted, a wall. That would have saved lives, by the way. When you look at the administration of mashed potato brains, Democrats are actually ending people's lives by not having that wall. But the thing is, you're looking at the Senate races are tightening. Anthony, I agree. The Senate contests are tightening. And Fetterman's going to lose in Pennsylvania to Oz. I mean, it's pretty obvious. His campaign is tanking beyond belief. You have Warnock and Walker. That's very close. There is no toss-up. Ron Johnson's going to win in Wisconsin. You have Democrats losing whatever lead they had because of the Mar-a-Lago raid. And then they say, well, they don't want to interfere in the election and in the midterms. No, they're interfering all the time. With the Federal Bureau of Investigation does the work, the public relations work of the Democratic Party. When they went into Mar-a-Lago, they knew that it would energize Democrats and it would harm Republicans in terms of the national appeal of the Republican Party. Well, that's gone now. They're not indicting Trump because they have nothing to indict Trump on. He didn't commit a crime. That's why again, here's the thing. They don't indict Clinton or Hunter because there are crimes there, but they then just hide behind the investigation. Well, we're investigating. And so with Trump, they couldn't find anything. And the economy is tanking right before people go to the polls. So you're going to have a Trump Republican Senate and a Trump Republican House investigating Hunter and the Durham probe special counsel alongside, even if it'll very likely continue, but let's say it decides to end, they'll investigate all the revelations. You will have endless investigations, and you will have impeachment. Impeachment of Joe. You can do a number of topics, a number of issues. You can impeach him on the economy. Well, layoffs are going to be dreadful, ladies and gentlemen. But here, you're definitely going to impeach. They're definitely going to impeach on the 150 suspicious financial transactions. Okay. And the graft and bribery within the emails that the New York Post published that Twitter tried to suppress. See, this is the thing also. They desperately try to silence and censor. It doesn't work. The corruption, Democrats can have every algorithm they want. It ain't going to work because the economy and their corruption will tank their political chances in 2022, and 2024, hopefully. But here, Auten also said Steele refused to provide the names of any of his sources during that meeting, that Steele didn't give the Federal Bureau of Investigation anything during that meeting that corroborated the claims in his dossier. So then why did they continue to investigate Trump? Okay, they continued to investigate Trump because then they had another pretext, which is the Papadopoulos meeting, which, by the way, they withheld exculpatory evidence pertaining to. So they withheld exculpatory evidence on Papadopoulos, which would have exonerated him immediately, and also they couldn't prove the dossier. So there was never any reason. See, and the Inspector General Horowitz was not privy to all of this information. Okay, so that was before the Steele dossier. So Auten was testifying at the criminal trial of Igor Danchenko, a primary source of the Steele dossier, who was being prosecuted by special counsel John Durham. Danchenko has pleaded not guilty to 5 counts of lying to the Federal Bureau of Investigation about his sourcing for some information that ended up in the dossier. His trial started Tuesday at the federal courthouse in Alexandria, Virginia. Durham, a Trump-era prosecutor, was looking for misconduct in the Federal Bureau of Investigations, handled most of the in-court arguments on Tuesday and personally questioned Auten on the witness stand, a rare move for the special counsel and former U.S. attorney. Yes, Durham is on the case. And it's actually kind of good that he lost the first. It's kind of good. Anita, hello. It's kind of good that he he lost the Sussman trial. He didn't say one word during the Sussman trial. Okay? He didn't say one word during the Sussman trial. So it's kind of good that it's very good that he's taking the lead role. Those lies matter, prosecutors say. In an opening statement, prosecutors said Danchenko fabricated a source and concealed a source in his interviews with the Bureau in January 2017, where investigators were furiously trying to corroborate or refute the details. This is why the whole thing is so absurd. And this is the only difficult, it's the possible sticky point for, it's a possibly a difficult situation for Durham. The Federal Bureau of Investigation was in on it. Okay? They just need a pretext. That's why, like, when they went after Mar-a-Lago, and you have all these people like, well, there was a search warrant. You can't go into Mar-a-Lago. You know how easy it is to deceive a judge? Ask Kevin Kleinsmith, the FBI official who literally deceived the judge and pled guilty to it. Falsifying information. Then they said, oh, they said, it's, it was because he was overworked, and so he just added or falsified information. It was to deceive a judge, a FISA judge, into continuing to investigate Carter Page. But see, again, nobody knows any of this on the left. They don't care. So it's like nobody knows any of this. They don't care. They truly, this is one of the few times in American history where, I mean, maybe the only time where the left, if you could say it's left, it's only left on certain social issues, but they're authoritarian on most things. The left has the government on its side. The left has institutions and the United States government. In 20 years ago, the Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld people controlled, like, CNN was an extension of the Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld administration. I remember CNN is like this, like a nefarious, really insidious network. They slither towards the political party or the zeitgeist, whatever it is. They slither towards it. I mean, with the same passion and energy. It's like it really doesn't even matter what the value system or what the politics are. Like, you look 20 years ago, in 2002, okay, right after the worst day in American history, in 2001, CNN was a mouthpiece. It was the antithesis of what we see now. It was a mouthpiece for the Republican Party. Now it's a mouthpiece for the Democratic Party. Same with the Washington Post and New York Times. And so you have like establishment, this public relations machine that gravitates towards political power. And it's pretty obvious, and Trump doesn't care about it. That's the great thing about Trump. Stephanie, hello. Everybody here, hello. Jigsaw, hello. Lisa, hello. Kevin, hello. That's the thing about Trump. He doesn't care about any of it. He doesn't need the intel community. He doesn't need media. He doesn't need loyalists in the government, although that would actually be nice. When they were like, oh my God, Trump's going to come in and clean house. Like, yeah, that would be great. Why? What's the problem? Are you afraid that loyalists of the Democratic Party will actually no longer be in government? Gee, I mean, like, it's really hilarious. They always show their cards. They always implicate themselves with their fears of Trump. Like, Trump's going to come in and suddenly he's going to fire people. What's the problem with that? Well, these are lifelong public servants. Ah, okay. Are they siding with the political party? Yeah, they're siding with the Democratic Party, and he's going to install loyalists. Oh, so you want your loyalists there. Do you think President Obama had loyalists? You think President Obama kept Bush's loyalists? No. You think Bush kept Clinton's loyalists? No. That's not how it works. Okay? But it's like you have a situation where the Democratic Party not only cheats its candidates, so they cheated Bernie Sanders. This is a fact. And then Bernie said, thank you. Thanks for cheating me. Maybe 4 years from now in Iowa, I'll get a fair chance. Oh, that's right. I lost again. Gee, what a coinkydink. So every 4 years they cheat Bernie Sanders. Every 4 years. And Democratic voters, Bernie voters, and I was the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet. Wasn't anyone else. It was me. In the Hill Huffington Post Salon, the editors signed off on all my writing. They've shared hundreds of thousands of times. Nobody was writing in support of Bernie Sanders like I was. Nobody. And all the people who claim to care about Bernie now, they were really nowhere to be found. And I didn't think that they would cheat Bernie because I couldn't imagine a primary that was just, I couldn't imagine the primary being a theatrical performance. But it was a theatrical performance, ladies and gentlemen. They don't even have a functioning primary. They do this also like in New York for the mayoral contest. I mean, it's a complete fabricated theatrical performance, like performance art. You go from Bernie to Trump because you want an end to never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts. That's how you got the Doha Agreement, which brought Americans home. That's how you got the first president to step foot in North Korea, to begin, hopefully, a roadmap towards détente between North and South Korea. That's how you got the Abraham Accords. That's how you got Americans leaving not only one region of the world with the Doha Agreement that Biden completely botched, but also another region of the world where generals were actually lying to him about troop levels. He was the first president in modern history not to have started Trump a counterinsurgency conflict or a new military intervention. That's why Tulsi Gabbard left the Democratic Party. The Lincoln Project people are voting alongside Bernie Sanders. The Lincoln Project people are in the Democratic Party. The same Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld people are now within the Democratic Party, along with all the quote-unquote socialists. Cheyenne, hello. Clotis, hello. I want record low poverty. Can I get record low poverty? 2019, 10.5%. Record low poverty. Record low poverty. Now we have Layoffs and poverty at 14.7%. That's how you go from Bernie to Trump. Poverty, 10.5%. Here, record, CNN, 2019, the trusted news and name. Here you go. We had median incomes at record highs with Trump without 10 trillion pumped into the economy. But we had the poverty rate fell to 10.5% in 2019. Okay, here, 2019. Okay, median income hits record highs before Democrats tanked everything because the experts and the smart people, experts, very intelligent. The poverty rate fell to 10.5% last year. This was a 2020 article, 2019. The lowest since records started in 1959. What's there not to like about Trump? You think Bernie would do this? No. Bernie Sanders would be steamrolled by... He couldn't even fight, and he couldn't even overcome a corrupt Democratic Party establishment. You think he's going to go up against a Bernie Dossier? Oh, you got a dossier against me. Okay. Fantastic. You purchased a dossier. Now we have 14.7%. 14.7%. Okay. And then these sometimes these like liberal like sites they'll give accurate like this Columbia University like, oh, it is 14.7% national poverty. Yeah, okay. And we had 10.5 with Trump. So obviously poverty is much worse. And that was in March. It's much worse now. But then they're like, last year they were taking a victory lap. Like, Biden, he cut childhood poverty. By doing what? By giving these checks and stimulus. You mean to tell me that the economy was so terrible you had to pump money into the economy for people to get out of poverty? What happens if you didn't pump money into, give people checks? Because usually an economy should work to where people have the ability to earn a living. Okay? Bernie Sanders... The reason I liked Bernie Sanders is I thought he was the antithesis of Clinton. He wasn't. They won't even vote for Medicare for all on the floor of the House. But the whole point is I wanted low poverty, I wanted a reduction in poverty, and I wanted a great foreign policy. We had the Doha Agreement, and we had a record low in poverty. What is there not to like? What on earth is there not to like about Trump? I'll take his mean tweets. I will take the man's mean tweets, my God. It's not that big of a deal. The same people who despised Bernie Sanders despise Trump. But Bernie Sanders is a political creature. Trump is actually a million times more honest than all of media and even Bernie Sanders. Bernie was cheated, and he didn't even have the courage to say, at least give back the $200 million sent to me because people thought it was a fair and neutral primary. Okay? And then I get from even friends, how'd you go from Bernie to Trump? It's like, well, do you see what's going on with the primary? It's a direct line from Bernie Sanders to Trump because you realize it's a complete racket on the left. And then you realize that they love poverty. Democrats love poverty and war. This way they can pump stimulus checks and feel good about themselves. See, poor people, we've created your poverty, but we're sending you checks. We're such good people. And then they could pretend to be tough by creating destabilizing, the Europe. The thing in Europe could have ended a long time ago. Before it would never have started with Trump. It would never even have started. Our alliance, this, our alliance, that. Like, you know what? that alliance is us. Rensler! Broken government system ruin everything they touch, yet people want Medicare for all. Exactly. I mean, it's a noble thing, Rensler. It would be noble if it was feasible. It would be good if it was feasible. But 320 million Americans, not possible. Medicare for all is not possible. Once you you can't even do it on a state-by-state basis. It's not possible for 320 million Americans. You'd have to double the triple tax collection. And so, Rensler, thank you. I agree with you. And it wouldn't just be, the way they think of everything is that it's like this, utopia, like you said, like it's like, it wouldn't just be, I'm reading the comments. It wouldn't just be, like, no problems. They can't even, the ACA couldn't even roll out a functioning website. They couldn't even roll out a functioning website. Rensler, you're right. But the thing is, it's a racket. It's a racket. When people say, well, how'd you go from Bernie Sanders to Trump? Many people have told me that. I'm like, well, I'm against never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts. And after I finish the word conflicts, their eyes roll up in their head, and they don't hear anything else I say, and they fall asleep. Or they go under, or they just like go into an alternate reality. They don't want to hear anything more. I wrote against counterinsurgency conflicts in The Hill, the Huffington Post, Salon, the Roanoke Times, a whole bunch of publications, the Jerusalem Post. I'm not only anti-war, I'm against counterinsurgency conflicts, the worst type of military intervention. And that invading country in Europe, we couldn't successfully invade that country either. We have the most powerful military in the world. It is impossible to just engage in a counterinsurgency conflict. You cannot occupy and take over and stay there forever. It doesn't work. It never worked. It didn't work for the Soviets. It didn't work for us in Vietnam. We can't do it. But no country can do it. But Democrats don't care. If Mashed Potato Brains Joe said he's going to take Americans and send them to Europe, 20-30% of Democrats would be all for it. They don't care. Henrietta, hello. They don't care. The way Democrats and Republicans work is that they're just fine with never-ending military conflict as long as Trump opposes it. And that's the thing. That's why they set up Trump. They set up Trump and framed him not because he's mean. They set up Trump and framed him because he upended a very destructive global foreign policy establishment. He doesn't worship the alliance, which, by the way, is the system of alliances got us into WW1 and destroyed all of Europe in WW1. Just algorithmic, just thinking of the algorithm at all times. Do some research, ladies and gentlemen. I know that my viewers understand this, but people who have the little icons on their Twitter profile, and I don't have Twitter, I don't have Facebook, do some research into how WW1 started. How did it start? Very highly educated, moral, liberal Democrats. Oh, that's right. A very broken, a very flawed, illogical, irrational system of alliances where one person and then one person and then one person and then one person, and then it's a complete powder keg. And now you have Article 5 with the end of the planet at stake. Here you have Fox News producer, awesome news. During questioning from Special Counsel John Durham, Brian Alton, a supervisory counterintelligence analyst with the Federal Bureau of Investigation, revealed the FBI offered Christopher Steele $1 million if he could corroborate the allegations in Dossier, but Steele could not do so. $1 million. I mean, it's unbelievable. St. Cruisin', exactly. Jojo Dancer, hello. You're going to spend $1 million of taxpayer money and you're not going to be able to prove what you investigated Trump on for 6 years now? Or no, what, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. In 19, the Mueller probe ended. So it was like 4 years of this whole nonsense, and people ate it up. The purveyors of fake and phony news were Democrats and media and lifelong liberal Democrats who lied through their teeth every second of the day. Trump could have worked with the Kremlin. Oh, Trump. You believed in lies, and then Trump is lying. He's lying. Oh, my God. It's like, nobody lied more than you. He kept saying that he didn't work with the Kremlin. You didn't believe him. He was telling the truth. Trump was telling the truth a lot more often than the New York Times or the Washington Post were. Okay? And you have this situation where John Durham, he got the acquittal and lost the first trial, but he is now the lead prosecutor. John Durham, who already sent a bureau official to prison in Boston. It's not like this ain't his first rodeo. And you have a situation, ladies and gentlemen, where it's not difficult to prove 1 out of 5 counts of lying, especially when the whole thing was fabricated. And he might not even have to go above and beyond to prove that the Federal Bureau of Investigation was duped. That was the whole issue with the Sussman trial. They proved that he lied. They just didn't prove that James Baker was duped. Comey's legal counsel. But you won't really need to prove that that the Bureau was duped. Okay, all John Durham needs to prove is that they were given false information and that they utilized false information to begin an investigation. And that's it. If it's 5 counts of lying, it's 5 different. So this trial is different from the Sussman trial because the Sussman trial has the actual lie in a text message, but the jury wasn't allowed to really see the text message because of a procedural issue. Now you have 5 different lies that are absurd. One of the lies entails a Clinton. Oh, don't bring me into this. A Clinton public relations executive that was literally working with this Steele subsource on trial. And when I say a Clinton public relations executive, the man was linked directly to Bill and Hillary. I got to give it up to Bill and Hillary. Nobody does deceitful, nasty political tactics like they do. Nobody. And Hillary, look, she committed crimes. If you watch the short on this channel, 24,000 views, it's not my words. It's James Comey, the Honorable Director Comey, says that she committed crimes, but no reasonable prosecutor would indict. To my super chat, thank you. Can't do this without you, ladies and gentlemen. Paul, Bartlett, D'Artagnan, everybody here, thank you. If you want to bring up any topic that pertains to what we're talking about, Tulsi Gabbard, the economy, the Durham probe, the Steele dossier via super chat, your super chat is greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. But Hillary's going to be running again. It's going to be Hillary Trump 2024. I predicted the stock market crash. Go watch. If you're new to this channel, hit subscribe. Go to the homepage. Go to the stock market crash playlist. Who was talking about the stock market crash in September of 2021? Not many people on YouTube. Liana, hello. Not many people on YouTube. Okay? And go and watch the first segment of the stock market crash playlist. Okay? Where I say, you know what? We're heading towards an economic collapse, and we are. It's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. Much worse. And this is all because, I explain in the stock market crash channel. But I mean, I explain in the Stock Market Crash playlist. Also, hit subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel and the Stock Market Crash channel. I'll be doing a lot more segments on those this week. But watch the shorts, ladies and gentlemen. They pretty much they tell you everything you need to know. And it's not just me. It's Michael Horowitz. It's President Obama. President Obama and James Comey exonerate Trump from any mishandling of classified data on the shorts on this channel. But they went after Trump, and Steele will get one conviction at least. He'll probably get 2 or 3. But he'll get one at least. When he gets one conviction, that we're going into midterms with one conviction from the Steele dossier, from the Durham probe special counsel, a Trump Republican House of Representatives that will impeach Mashed Potato Brains Joe. Mashed Potato Brains Joe will get impeached. Say it slowly. Mashed Potato Brains will get impeached. There's graft and bribery, and you don't need a dossier to prove it. You don't need James Clapper. You don't need John Brennan. You don't need Comey or Strzok or McCabe or any of the people being interviewed now on trial or witnesses. You don't need any of that. You already have the emails and you have the suspicious financial transactions. That's why they're agonizing over indicting Hunter, because they know it leads directly to Mashed Potato Brains. They're not stupid. They know what's going on. They're not stupid. Okay? When people say if you believe the official narrative on a lot of things, not everything, but a lot of things, that's the conspiratorial narrative. The official narrative is that Hunter is being investigated. The reality is that there's enough evidence to indict him, but the evidence leads and points to our president. That's the problem. That's the problem when Democrats and loyalists in the U.S. government do their absolute best to protect somebody who is really not qualified to run the country. Look at Trump was infinitely more qualified than what we currently have. Okay? Look at everything from gas prices to the economy to Europe to everything going on. If any of these things happened during Donald Trump's presidency, it would be the end of the world for people at the New York Times or the Washington Post or MSNBC and CNN. It would be the end of the world. As it is, they were more upset, they were more outraged over the Helsinki conference years back than the fact we're heading into a recession. Well, actually, we're in a recession, but like layoffs, a stock market crash, and an economic catastrophe that I predicted last year. They were more upset that Trump didn't condemn interference. What is he supposed to do? Like, the whole thing was complete nonsense. Facebook ads did not interfere in 2016. Even the vice president of Facebook, it was hilarious, said, oh yeah, most of them were seen after what are you talking about? And then he had to backtrack, saying, but it was really bad, really bad what they did. The people who believe complete lies and nonsense, okay, are the same people who think that Trump is a menace to democracy. Democracy, by the way, has nothing to do with what Donald Trump or what Mashed Potato Brains Joe or anyone else thinks of anything. Democracy exists through primarily laws in our courts, the Supreme Court and federal courts and state courts. These laws were judges 2 years ago when they say Trump was trying to undermine democracy. He went through the courts. The courts ruled against him. End of story. Tanya, I didn't know that. I agree with him. You have a situation where the economy is collapsing. We're going to see a too big to fail Lehman Brothers moment. The economy is collapsing. We'll get a conviction within the Durham probe special counsel. We'll go into November with a conviction. And then you have impeachment. So You have impeachment, ladies and gentlemen. It'll be very easy to impeach. And you won't just be impeaching on an ellipsis. Trump never pressured anyone into investigating Joe because and withholding military assistance. That was $1 billion in loan guarantees that mashed potato brains withheld. As Hunter was getting 80 to 100 grand a month from the company that prosecutor who was forced out would have investigated. This is according to Rudy Giuliani and the prosecutor himself. It's interesting. We got Comey with the Comey letter to start a special counsel, but we'll never hear from the prosecutor that Biden forced out. Same type of official and a government employee forced out. But you hear from one, you don't hear from the other. Interesting. Also, when was the last time an American vice president forced any... You think we would do that to France? You think we would say, hey, Macron, we don't like that prosecutor. Force him out. You think we'd do that to the UK or any other country? No. I mean, the arrogance is unbelievable. And then, you have everyone defending, Biden was trying to force out a prosecutor. I mean, everybody was in on it. Yeah, when was the last time? What was the precedent? And did President Obama give him the authority to do so? Oh, yeah, it was well known. Really? Well, why doesn't I've never heard President Obama say, ever, that he supported what Biden did. I've never heard anyone actually state that Biden had the authority to do so. Even the government officials he was trying to actually leverage and pressure. It's amazing. Everything they do, they accuse Trump of doing. Every single thing they've done, they accuse Trump of doing. He worked with the Kremlin. Oh, uranium one. 20% of U.S. uranium capacity. It's just a commodity. It's just a commodity. It's okay. If it's just a commodity, why is there a ban on oil imports from that country? Okay. So it's not just a commodity. And we're talking about an annihilation of the globe pertaining to that commodity. So I have to speak in roundabout terms for the algorithm, but you can put two and two together. They completely set up and frame Trump. It's pretty obvious. And they don't even really here's the thing. Steppenwolf, my man! Been listening to this dude since HP went full in comments. I don't know who's HP. Thank you so very much, Steppenwolf. Thank you. Steppenwolf, greatly appreciated. Thank you so very, very much. I actually don't. Maria, hello. I don't know. Steppenwolf, my man, thank you so much. Thank you, Steppenwolf. Greatly appreciate it. To my super chat, I cannot do this without you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. They set up and framed Trump. Steppenwolf, thank you again. Greatly appreciated. They set up and framed Trump, and they did so with only a pretext. A pretext. What does a pretext mean? It's any reason to do so. Any reason to do so. Give me a dossier, anything. Give me a meeting with Alexander Downer. Okay? Love Australia. I love Paul, Yvette, Mad Cow Mark. I love Australia. But Alexander Downer is an Australian diplomat that we should never have listened to. Because A, he never testified before Congress, and B, he should have. C, who cares what he said, what he told the Bureau about regarding what Papadopoulos allegedly said? Who cares about that? If the Kremlin interfered in 2016, what is it they interfered with? What is it that they interfered with? Telling us that Bernie Sanders was cheated? Is that the issue? And by the way, I love Tulsi Gabbard. And I love Trump. Record low in poverty, record highs in household median income, Doha Agreement. What's there not to like about Trump? He's a fantastic president. But Tulsi Gabbard is a very intelligent, courageous woman. I might not agree with her on everything. It really doesn't matter. Hopefully she becomes a Republican And hopefully she has a long and important, continued political career. We need Tulsi Gabbard. She has the same foreign policy as Trump, Rand Paul, Ron Johnson. The foreign policy of a non-interventionist, anti-war foreign policy. What is this? What is so difficult for that to understand for Democrats? We don't want, what's taking place in Europe is directly because of democratic foreign policy. There is no reason to revere an alliance that we support. It's Noam Chomsky, okay? You couldn't get more left than Noam Chomsky. Actually said Trump was more of a dove than any of his predecessors, and it's true. And he also said it's a Cold War relic. Steppenwolf, thank you so very much, sir. It's a Cold War relic. Tulsi Gabbard flew to, she had a secret flight years back to a country embroiled in civil conflict. You know the country, you know the city. And she did so, and she didn't even get, there was no fanfare. And then you get these like liberal YouTubers. I don't really know about Tulsi Gabbard. These are the same liberal YouTubers who don't even stick up for friends who are on the left. These are the same liberal YouTubers who will say anything that CNN says as long as, but they'll do so in a more like millennial or progressive manner. Whatever. When you hear people talk on the left about Tulsi Gabbard, it's nauseating because you can see they're like dripping with hypocrisy and arrogance and this. They know she's right. The way the left works is that they know Tulsi Gabbard is right, but they don't like the truth. Oh, she's went after Hillary and she's like opposing never-ending military conflict. But honestly, I just don't like the way she does. Like, she helps the Republicans. It's like, well, if you had listened to her, you wouldn't have this dysfunctional mess in the Democratic Party. By the way, Democrats achieved nothing in the past 4 years. Like, less than nothing. Had they never been in office, we would be better. Had we not even had a Congress, we'd be better off. No, not even Republican or Democrat. We would have been better off. Had we not had a Congress, we would be much better off now. They did nothing. They did absolutely nothing. And you have a situation where the knock on her is the same knock on anybody that tells the truth. Then they said they accused her of being an operative of the Kremlin. Not one person. It took Bernie like a couple of days. Oh, by the way, that's not true. Not one person really came to her defense in the Democratic Party. I mean, where was Elizabeth Warren? Where were all these people in the Democratic Party saying that Clinton? Where was the Washington Post with a fact check? Fact check. Baseless claim. You never hear Hillary Clinton made a baseless claim against Tulsi Gabbard. But with Trump, oh my God. He could say it's one of the greatest economies ever. It's not the greatest economy. It's not. It was better in 1957. Maria Camacho. $10 is less than 2 gallons of gas. Exactly. Maria Camacho, thank you. Exactly. Steppenwolf, Maria Camacho. I love the re. Maria, thank you so very much. Fantastic icon. That's one of that would make a great tattoo. If I got that profile tattooed on my chest, it'd be fantastic. Could you imagine when Trump is sworn in 2025. The inaugural. Oh my God, it'd be amazing. You'll have endless photos like that one. Maria, thank you so much. Thank you, Maria. Steppenwolf, thank you. These people are like, they obsess over Trump, and they don't realize that the Democratic Party is like the epicenter, not only of immorality and corruption, but of criminality. It used to be Republicans used to be the epicenter 20 years ago of criminality, immorality. You look at what George W. Bush was the worst president of all time. The worst. Look what he did, not only with WMD, but sending Americans to a counterinsurgency conflict for 20 years in numerous regions of the world. For what purpose? We know the purpose, but did it work out? And he gets a free pass from Democrats. Tulsi Gabbard opposes Bush. The same people, by the way, and I know these people are like, oh, I oppose Bush. Really? Then why'd you vote for Clinton? Hypocrite. The secret spaceship! Thanks, Aisha. YouTube won't let me speak of mashed potato bread. That's a secret spaceship. Thank you. Thank you so very much. Steppenwolf, starting it off. Thank you. Maria, thank you. Secret spaceship, it's true. It's that's why I just say mashed potato. You can never go wrong with mashed potato. You can never Norman, hello. You can never go wrong with mashed potatoes. It's pretty much, yeah, I agree with you. The Secret Spaceship, thank you. One of the great names in this channel's history, the Secret Spaceship, thank you. The thing is, like, when people say, like, when conservatives look at Tulsi Gabbard, they say, well, you know what? She's really a Democrat. It's like, that's okay, though. Think of foreign policy. Foreign policy, she has the same foreign policy as Trump. That's the main reason I love Trump is foreign policy. The main reason. And she's against the tribalism, the damaging groupthink. They don't like Tulsi Gabbard because she tells the truth about who they are. And she actually went to bat for Bernie Sanders in 2016. So I hope elitist, you know what of you know what. Right here it says, I mean, she's 100%, as Alec Baldwin would say, 100% true. And that is about to be a story. The DA in New Mexico says very likely, possibly, potentially, Alec Baldwin and several others will be charged with criminal charges. So maybe he'll find that Splenda packet again, and he could use that in a court of law. You are 100% true. You are the lost Splenda packet. You can't make this up. Oh, not only do you have Alec Baldwin, the Democratic Party, pontificating and preaching, the Democrats Kamala Harris actually blamed Trump for what's going on in the southern geographic region of our country. How you can do that with a straight face and not start laughing, I don't understand. But that's the thing. It's like all of their failures, they don't even acknowledge, and they just blame Trump. We're going on 3 years of mashed potato brains and his bumbling band of imbeciles. The rebuttal of at least he's not Trump, it doesn't work anymore when you're like paying more for food and gas and everything. It just doesn't work anymore. And so it just doesn't work anymore. You can't simply say Secret Spaceship, Steppenwolf, Maria, everybody here. You can't simply say, well, at least not Trump. Oh, and by the way, to 523 viewers, we had 600 viewers. Thanksgiving is around the corner, ladies and gentlemen. Do not bring up Trump. This is a public service announcement. Thank you, Warren. Don't bring up Trump. You will have the turkey thrown at you. It depends. If you are in a place, if you are in a house where even one, you could have 70 people, all supporters of Trump. If you have one Trump derangement syndrome person, don't even bring it up, because that person will upend the table. That person will throw turkey legs at you. He'll throw the sauce, the little turkey sauce. He'll become a raving maniac. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. They can't stand the secret spaceship. Exactly. They cannot stand the truth. Joel Valdez. Algorithms won't let me express myself. Why is that so funny? Joel, you're hilarious. Joel Valdez. Joel Valdez is one of the most awesome, amusing people on here. Joel. Algorithms won't let me express myself. I don't know what that means, but it's so funny. Secret Spaceship, Steppenwolf, Maria Joel Valdez. If you are going to Thanksgiving at anyone's home, and you're surrounded by 10 supporters of Trump and one Trump derangement, don't bring up politics. Because the one Trump derangement person will ruin the entire dinner, lunch, Thanksgiving day. Don't bring up our failing economy, horrible foreign policy, gas prices, inflation, food prices, food shortages, possible nuclear Armageddon. Don't bring it up. And don't even fall for the, here's the really, don't fall for the, oh, I'm not really into politics, lure you in, and then, oh, but you know that Trump worked with the Kremlin, right? Don't fall for that, because what they want to do, like, let's say, Joel, everybody here, Secret Spaceship, Steppenwolf, Maria, let's say you're talking to somebody at a dinner party, okay? And you don't, it's just like, you don't know who, you don't, like with politics and Trump, you have no clue who you're talking to. So it could be like, if somebody says to you, oh, this inflation is terrible. He might be a Trump supporter, might be, yeah, good. And inflation is terrible. God, this is thing in Europe. I mean, nuclear Armageddon. Okay, yes. He supports Trump. He's a normal person. Okay, good. So, yeah. And then so you then you lure you in, and then you could be like, okay. And then they say something like, yeah, we didn't have this under Trump, huh? And then you're almost there. You're like, yes, we didn't have this under Trump. Yes. You're a normal person. And then they'll say, but he's bad for democracy. End the discussion. That was a trap. Danger, Will Robinson. End the discussion. That was to lure you in. Don't you understand? That was for you to then say, no, he's not. But what? Well, he worked for the Kremlin, right? You do believe that. I mean, they wouldn't lie. Then talk about something else. You're talking about Children of the Corn. You're talking about, like, the Hale-Bop people. Like, you're talking about a doomsday cult. They don't care. They'd rather have ICBMs flying above and a stock market crash than Trump back. Don't fall for any tricks. Just don't talk about politics. New Year's, birthday. You could give your kidney. You could give a bodily organ to a morally superior liberal Democrat, and they would say, thank you so much. I can live now. I can live. I can live. And then you'd say, yeah, okay. And then they'll be like, but you don't like Trump, right? Well, actually, I do. I want a great foreign policy and a great economy. What? I wish I never got your kidney. How dare you? I can't believe I have the organ of a Trumper. A Trumper organ. I wish that I would rather go into the afterlife. Rinsler! They're just more bricks in the wall at this point. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Brian, hello. Pretty much Rinsler. His tweets are so mean. One of my favorite characters, Deadpool. Yes, love that character. Basically my favorite modern character. Rinsler, you're right. Don't fall for it. Rinsler, Secret Spaceship, Maria, Steppenwolf, everyone here, don't fall for it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Don't do it. And when the House and Senate go Republican, do not gloat. Don't take a victory lap. Don't text people who've disowned you. Ha ha, yeah, how you like it now? Don't do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. They're going to be mourning an actual, impeachment of mashed potato brains. So come on, man, impeach, man. What, impeach what, man? Come on now. Undo push-ups, man. You want me to do push-ups, man? One-handed push-ups, man. You only gonna impeach me, man? Come on, man. Cornflakes, man. They're going to impeach mashed potato brains Joe. And it's gonna be fake impeachment. The phony fake impeachment. The phony fake impeachment. With Democrats who is a twice impeached president. Twice impeached President Trump. Twice impeached Trump. Did we say that Trump was impeached? Trump was impeached. Impeachment. Trump. Impeach. With mashed potato brains Joe, it'll be like phony fake impeachment. They're gonna. You can't prove anything. There's hundreds of millions of dollars and tens of millions of dollars going into the bank accounts of Hunter and others. And then there's emails saying, how can you use your influence on the company's behalf? And then you have Joe altering U.S. foreign policy as vice president after he met with people in the West Wing. You can't prove it. You used a dossier that said Trump was you-know-what on it in a Moscow hotel room, and you were okay with that. That was okay. If you said Trump had marital relations with a Martian, you would be like, it's true, we heard about it. But you have actual money transactions and emails, all graft and bribery, incriminating kickbacks that actually topple governments. And their motto is, you can't prove anything. Yeah, you could totally prove everything. You could totally prove everything. You could totally prove everything. Joel Valdez! Dang algorithms. Feel like my words have to twist through laser beams to avoid being Joel Valdez! They did, you know what? You got the first word in. It's pretty good. Joel Valdez, yep. It's to keep us safe, Joel. It's to keep us safe. The one thing Democrats are good at is keeping us safe. Joel Valdez, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Steppenwolf. Thank you. Robert John, hello. So, you're going to look, ladies and gentlemen. Matt, hello. Joel, thank you so much. Again, thank you, Joel. Impeachment is around the corner. A conviction is around the corner. You get the Senate as Republican. Oh, I'm going to have a very nice time. We're going to have a very nice time. The House will go Republican. But the absolute meltdown of people who would rather have the end of the world. And that's not even hyperbolic. There's probably about 5% of the Democratic Party who would rather have a nuclear catastrophe than Trump back in office. And I'm not joking. Here, we can just Here, let's do a poll. What percent of Democrats would rather have end of the world than Trump back in Oval Office? I would say less than 5% or more than 5%. You tell me. Steppenwolf, everyone here. What percentage of Democrats would rather have end of the world than Trump back in office? Secret Spaceship, Maria, everyone here. You tell me. Rinsler, everybody, you tell me. You think it's more than 5% or less than 5%? Because I'm serious now. I would actually say more than 5%. I would probably say about 6% of Democrats. 6 or 7% would rather have the end of the world because they believe that we have destroyed the planet, and they're so obsessed with climate change they'd rather just expedite everything and start all over. Then have Trump back in office. I maybe it's less than 5%. Honestly, I don't know. Probably 6%. I don't know. The people that I know, they would actually, like, the people who've disowned me, they probably would rather have the end of the world. What percentage of Democrats would rather have the end of the world? I mean, it is a percentage of them. Ernie, yeah. Hugh, I'd say 98%. I mean, you're looking at probably, if it's not 5%, it's 5.5%. It's like the Price is Right type thing. I mean, it's not even a joke at this point. I mean, it's not hyperbole at this point. Quinn, 99%. It's not even like, there is a percentage of people, Robert John, there is a percentage of people who would rather have the end of the world than Trump, and they will. You look at the wonderful, like the intellectual, that the very revered intellectual and atheist, that he said, "Oh, kickbacks, no problem. Trump University, worse." The ability of very intelligent people to justify the indefensible is astounding. Yeah, Derek, I wouldn't doubt it's high. Probably about 6-7%. They would rather have you understand? They would rather have the end of the world than have Trump tweeting. Trump's tweets, they think angels in heaven pass away when Trump tweets. They think that Trump's tweets are the greatest. They think that, like, it's suddenly they have images of the 1930s and 1940s authoritarians when Trump tweets. This is their understanding of history. Their warped, distorted, sad, and pathetic view of history. And then the history will be kind to you. Really? Rinsler! Save the world with Doomsday. Exactly. Steppenwolf, thank you again. Secret Spaceship, thank you. Maria, thank you. Rinsler, thank you so much. Save the world with Doomsday. Exactly. Warren, we are... Rinsler! Well, what's the phrase? Sometimes you have to destroy the world to save it. Do you understand? It could be the end of the world. Rinsler. ICBMs above, about to go to town. There could, God forbid, be an earthquake where the center of the earth opens up and your car could be descending into the center of the earth where there's like a volcano erupting. As you're descending, it's like erupting up, and like you see like the lava about to hit your car. And then like a hornet comes in and stings you in the face. And you're like, "What? How did that happen?" And then you're in the car with a morally superior, highly educated liberal Democrat. And God would, that's right, God would win. Well, actually, maybe it's the other person. But and then the liberal Democrat checks his phone, his Robinhood account, and the retirement account is done because Joe Biden's economy tanked it, and there's no retirement anymore. The stock market crash, and then Lehman Brothers, like all these banks go under as a Lehman Brothers moment, and suddenly a shark appears like Sharknado, and you're like, what? How? We're not even. Oh, but then water floods into the crevice that you're going into. And then you look at the morally superior liberal as you're descending into the center of the earth where more bugs are like, stinging you. And then the person would say, at least Trump isn't tweeting. At least Trump isn't tweeting. That's what they would say. That's what they would say. They don't care, is my point. There's never a moment. Exactly, Joel, exactly. There's never a moment where you could say, told you so. There's never a told you so moment. There's never a moment where you say, oh, I told you. They don't care. These are the same people 2 years ago who were passing champagne bottles as they pushed to shut down every business known to man. And they were wearing 1800s diving helmets. And then they were passing champagne bottles like, it's like, New Year's and you're just, drinking from the same bottle. You're talking about the biggest hypocrites on the planet. The absolute biggest hypocrites on the planet. I mean, that's the type of, that's what you're, And I just, honestly, I was against Trump going back to Twitter. I just thought but when he's not in power, it actually is okay. Because Democrats, they derive a great amount of political momentum when Trump is president on Twitter. But now they'll have to do two things at once. They'll have to defend mashed potato brains and they'll have to actually then say, oh, Trump, you're horrible. It's much better. And wouldn't even, it wouldn't even make sense to say that Trump was worse. Joel Valdez! How do you become a millionaire in today's economy? Asked Durham. Well, actually, you know what, Joel? Thank you so much. Joel, actually, what took place was, what took place was they offered $1 million, but he didn't get them. They didn't get the money. Steele couldn't. Christopher Steele couldn't couldn't get even $1. The whole thing was made up. That's a really, really important part of, if they have to prove that the Bureau was duped, he'll have an easy time, Joel, proving that, because he offered $1 million. The Bureau offered $1 million. So, Joel, thank you. The freak! Tell you it's time to change career or else, will you today commit to and agree to becoming Arizona Diamondbacks primary broadcaster? Yeah, I'd love to. I love baseball, so that would be pretty awesome. But I mean, I love my work also. But thank you, the freak. Thank you so much. Yeah, I got this old school Blue Yeti here. This is an old school microphone. The freak, thank you so very, very much. I think that, the great Vince Scully, he was so fantastic, the freak. And Joel Valdez, Vince Scully was just a national treasure, lost as Southern California treasure. He was just amazing, Vince Scully. He really made you feel like you were listening to the radio, or you were watching the Dodger game with a family member. He really did. It really felt that like you were listening to a family member. I mean, you can go back in time. Harry Carey was amazing too. Because I live in Southern California, growing up with Vince Scully, I grew up, and obviously Harry Carey was, amazing. But he was, if I grew up in Chicago, I'd hear him all the time. I mean, the announcers of yesteryear, I mean, everything, it just seems that almost everything was better. It just seems with Nevada, I could do, let's see, Harry, how do you get a steel dossier? $1 million. They can't even find any evidence of anything, and they investigate Trump. I was losing it at the end, but there's a comedian, I forgot his name, but he does the best Harry Carey. This was years back. Warren, yes. The freak, thank you so much. Very good compliment, thank you. Joel Valdez, everybody here. But, yeah, I mean, you look, ladies and gentlemen, the tide is turning, the pendulum is swinging, and now Chick Hearn, I'm thinking the Jello's jiggling. Chick Hearn was amazing too. How many Laker fans here? Chick Hearn was also. I mean, I was very lucky growing up. I had Vince Scully and Chick Hearn. Those were two amazing announcers. And then I had Don Drysdale. He was an amazing announcer also. Don Drysdale, really quickly, signed my baseball at 16. I was like 15 or 16. I was like 15 years old. And he was late for a broadcast. This man was an amazing human being. Don Drysdale, one of the great pitchers of all time, Hall of Famer. And I remember I was at Dodger Stadium, and I had a ball, and I had my pen, and I had a couple Hall of Famers walk by me, which was fine. And then I had Don Drysdale about, I'm not joking, 20 yards away from me. And I was like this, Mr. Drysdale. And he was very nice. He goes, I'm sorry, son, I have to go. And it was just like a Wonder Years moment. I said, please, Mr. Drysdale, please. He walked all the way back. The great Don Drysdale, Hall of Famer, walked all the way back, signed my baseball, and said, here you go, son. And I was like, thank you. Oh, thank you. I mean, it was amazing. I still have the baseball. He was a great man. Don Drysdale was a great man. Awesome, awesome human being. I mean, how many people are going to do that? Walk 20 yards all the way back to a kid and sign his baseball. But that was one of the greatest moments of my life. It was awesome. Karen, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be back later tonight. I will, yes, Paul. I will be back to my super chat. Steppenwolf, Secret Spaceship, Maria, everyone here, Rinsler, The Freak, Joel, everyone here. Thank you so very, very much. You've all been so wonderful. That's right, Brooklyn Dive, exactly. I'll be back. I should have a live stream later tonight. I'll have an upload in about an hour on this channel, then I'll have a live stream. All right, everybody, thank you so very much. God bless. I'll try to do an earlier live stream tomorrow. So be here tomorrow. I'll also do an upload tomorrow. Indy, thank you. I'll do an upload tomorrow at about 9:30, 10 a.m. Pacific. So watch.